I am moving in about. I'm leaving Austin in about. No, it'll probably. Do you know Bianca? Do you know Bianca? She sometimes goes to. She does bring office where she sometimes goes to like crime stuff. But she'll probably be taking over all of mine. Yeah. So I haven't got anything. They're gonna let me stay on the list through the end of the year. And then yeah, after that, I just my partner called therapist.
Who uses Sennheiser? Who uses a Sennheiser? You got a low battery. Yeah, it says low. And then you have an RF error too.
No, it's got 3 bars. Huh.
Oh yeah, you're full.
No, yeah.
You're not getting interference?
No. No, I'm not.
They're probably gonna put papers.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say.
Can you give me a mic check?
But I mean, this is a pretty big move, so I feel like it's. Yeah.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Mic check. Yeah, you're bumping. Yep, check check. I just moved it because they're probably gonna put papers here. Check check check. Mic check, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Microphone check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check.
I mean, it wasn't like that before. All they did was just say that. I mean, they had a little bit of drama. As we saw for the 2 weeks of the trial. But I mean, like they just kept like the defense was like, oh, we can't do it this day, we can't do it this day, and the state was like, well, no, like they've already put like the 16th was like really late, and like the state was like, we would like to do this like end of the month, sometime next month. Like they were ready for it. Like they're like, oh, we can't do it this. Yeah. For me. What do you mean? Oh, I don't think so. I mean, I don't really think that'd be like. She's up, but like, I don't know even who she has against her. I mean, she does. I mean, like it's come up with like I mean, like I think and Travis can know if she was voted out. Probably, would she still be on the bench? Yeah, she would. She would be in December because she was like, yeah, like yeah. It's like January.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was thinking, yeah. I thought the same. I was like, for sure.
I mean, unless.
Well, no one's talking, but you will have audio.
I mean, I think that there's a chance though that like it could get pushed anyways into December because.
What's that? What's that?
And like the state brought this up, so there's like another police use force starting December 3rd.
Yeah, I can hear you. Check, check, check. Mic check. Can you talk to me? Check, check, check. Check. Mic check, mic check. Testing 1 2 3 4 5. Check, check. I can. Okay, sounds good. I can hear you. Check, 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 check. You got it, John? Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, makes more sense to.
Oh, you get to. I was like, what? I thought I had.
Okay, you got it, girl. You got it.
Both of you. Homicide. I warned this dude on the race, you know, on Saturday. I was like, please.
My boots are still so dusty.
I was like,
No, I had to clean these and my shoes that I wore on Friday. They were, I didn't shout. You're just right. Wait, are you ordering? You didn't see me?
I am. I just want my decision.
I need to check. I like the shirt.
Yeah, no, that all goes to the specific news one now. They'll send it out in 14 days. I feel like I still have a lot of them.
Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3.
I never take my work phone. I think that's all.
Yeah, because they came out for $93 with the tip and the delivery charge.
No, I don't even take it when I go home, like I'm like,
How long does it take for you to get your shirt?
Probably not behind the TV, probably over there. Yeah. Hey guys, okay, I'll just do a say and spell for everyone here. This is about the homicide that was yesterday in the 1800 block of Burton Drive. Speaking first is going to be Detective Matthew Jones. That's Matthew, last name Jones, Jones. Detective Jones is the secondary detective on this case. He's with the homicide unit with the Austin Police Department. Following his remarks, we're going to hear from Detective Adam Curvin. He's with the Tactical Intelligence Unit. That's ADAM. last name Curvin. And then following him, we will hear from Detective Randy De Luna. He's the lead detective on this case with the Homicide Unit in the Austin Police Department. First name Randy, RANDYDELUNA. And then we're going to hear from Lisa Davis, LISADAVIS, our Chief of Police. And following Chief Davis, we will open up to questions. Questions will just be directed to Detective De Luna for this one. And then after all that, we will be providing the remarks in Spanish as well. So we'll do a quick reset in between, but we'll get things going with you, Detective.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. APD responded to a double homicide on Monday, October 14th, 2024 at 7:38 a.m. in the 1800 block of Burton Drive. 2 individuals were found deceased in a vehicle, 1 male and 1 female, with apparent gunshot wounds. The female subject was identified as Francis Cayana Ensueme Corredor, and the male was identified as Brian Florentino Flores Alvarez. Flores lived at 1805 Burton Drive, and the investigation showed he had received a call and then left his apartment to meet Ensueme in the parking lot. Officers on scene were able to locate surveillance video of the parking lot where the incident occurred. The video showed the victim's white SUV pulling into the parking lot at 2:49 a.m. Video surveillance showed at 3:25 a.m. a gray SUV pulled up behind the white GMC, and an individual was observed exiting the vehicle and approaching the passenger side of the white GMC. A records check through APD involvement showed Ensueme with a Child Protective Service case involving her common-law husband, Mr. Shirless Machado Hernandez. Austin police were able to locate a vehicle for Mr. Machado Hernandez in APD involvement for a silver Mitsubishi Outlander, and this Mitsubishi was consistent with the suspect vehicle from the surveillance video recovered on scene. I will now turn the portion over here to Detective Curvin.
Good morning. It was discovered through the investigation that the victim, the female victim, had 3 children, all of which were unaccounted for. The primary focus of the investigation turned to the well-being of those children, locating them and ensuring their safety. To that end, we checked all addresses on record for the couple, the children, and any other address we could identify that had previous APD involvement for that family. Officers were unable to locate the children, the husband, or the vehicle, the silver Mitsubishi Outlander. The children have since been located and are safe and uninjured. Machado was the father of 2 of those 3 children, and CPS is currently handling the placement of those children at this time. Within an hour of the Amber Alert going out, family with whom the children were with contacted Austin Police Department to notify them that the children were at 5401 Decker Lane and had been dropped off by Machado, who had then abandoned his silver Mitsubishi and left the scene in a gray Toyota Highlander with Illinois license plates. Undercover units began to saturate the area where all known locations for Machado and that vehicle appeared in our records. At approximately 6:35 p.m., an undercover officer spotted the silver Toyota Highlander with Illinois plates pull up to an apartment complex off Wickersham Lane. The driver of that vehicle, later identified as the suspect's brother, exited that Toyota Highlander and ran to a black Kia SUV bearing license plates that returned to a completely different vehicle in a different color. It is believed that those license plates were put on that vehicle to obscure its identity and further invade law enforcement. Undercover officers began to conduct mobile surveillance on that vehicle with the hopes of locating the suspect. They were able to follow it to another nearby apartment complex where the primary suspect's brother, who was the driver of that Kia at the time, met with another person, later identified as a second brother to the primary suspect, and the vehicle went mobile again. Undercover officers, with the assistance of APD's Air 1 unit, continued to follow the vehicle until sufficient resources were in place to conduct a stop on it. It was believed, due to the gravity of the case, due to the fact that the license plate on the vehicle did not return to the vehicle, that the attempted traffic stop would turn into a pursuit. That did not happen. The vehicle yielded in a residential neighborhood, and the primary suspect was taken into custody, having been found hiding in the back seat of that Kia SUV. The driver of that vehicle was detained, but has not been charged at this time. The units involved in the apprehension included APD Patrol, APD Metro TAC units, APD's Violent Crimes Task Force, the Tactical Intelligence Unit, APD K-9, and the Department of Public Safety troopers. I'm going to pass it on to the lead detective, Detective Randy DeLuna.
Good morning. CPS had informed homicide detectives about an active case involving Shirley Machado Hernandez. A forensic interview was to be scheduled for today, October 15th, 2024, with the child victim at the Child Advocacy Center prior to the homicide. Homicide detectives discovered that the suspect had withdrawn the children from their current schools and provided a new address in Niederwald on Friday, October the 11th, 2024. The victim suspect and all three children had been living at the address in Niederwald. It is unknown if Answami had contact with Machado that night, and unknown how Machado had located Answami in the parking lot on Burton Drive. The investigation showed that the two victims had been involved in a dating relationship. The suspect did not wish to provide a statement. Machado was booked in the Travis County Jail for capital murder. Now I'll turn it over to Chief.
Thank you all. Thanks everyone for coming. I think I'd like to begin with talking about family violence and how important it is. Here we have, a coward who killed the mother of his children and left three children motherless, and how devastating that is. Family violence is something that touches, every part of this police department, from homicide down to our patrol officers who are taking those calls. So I think that's something to think about. I think it speaks to the power of the Amber Alert. It worked exactly how it was supposed to. Within an hour of people getting that alert, the children were located. So there's absolute power in that. And then our state and local partners and how, catching this and apprehending this offender was possible. And so to the APD, fantastic work. I saw this in action, went to the scene, saw the tremendous amount of work that was being done at the scene, and then came back to the station and the tremendous amount of work that was here trying to locate these children. So their passion and their dedication to the work that gets done here every single day, I applaud you. It's really impressive. So that's just what I want to say. So again, fantastic work by state and local people, and I'm super proud, very proud of APD. Thank you.
If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. Start with Brianna.
What was the purpose of waiting to publicly connect the Amber Alert to the morning homicide?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
What was the purpose of waiting to publicly announce that there was a connection between the Amber Alert and the morning homicides versus saying something as the Amber Alert went out, either in the Amber Alert or in conjunction with it?
I think at the time we just didn't have all the information to be able to make that quick judgment. We were still working an active scene. We were still receiving information. We were still interviewing witnesses that were on scene. So a lot of this information is coming in slowly. So it takes a little bit of time to gather all the information to be able to make that decision.
You talked about checking addresses to try to find these kids. One of the ways was the previous APD involvement. What kind of record does he have besides just the custody with the kids?
As far as like his actual, you're referring to like a criminal record, we're not going to discuss criminal record at this time. Like I said, we're just going to stick to the case. Sorry.
Understanding that this is an unusual situation, but there are several residents in the Southeast Austin area concerned about the rise in crime going up. What does APD kind of have to say, to residents there to kind of ensure them that they're safe and that police is doing everything they can to keep them out of harm's way?
Well, patrol officers are out there actively working calls. They're out there responding to citizens' needs the best they possibly can. So, like I said, they're out there doing what they can. So they're doing the best they can.
Do we have any indication that the suspect was tracking this female. That's how he knew where she was.
We don't know that at this time. That's what we're still looking into. We knew that the suspect was able to find the victim. So we were able to see that on video camera that the suspect did pull up at the time. We just don't know at this point how he was able to find where the victim was at.
Sorry, you said the suspect and I believe the deceased victim, they were, I guess, common law married. Is there knowledge or a timeline of maybe when they separated or how long they had been apart from each other?
At this point in the investigation, what we discovered is they were still together at this point. There was no indication that they had been separated at any point. They were still living together at the same residence.
But she had a new boyfriend.
Correct.
Can you tell us where the children were found and who they were with?
We can't answer that at this time.
Did he have the children with him? How long did he have the children with him? Do we know?
We don't know that at this time. We know that from about 3:30 to possibly 1 o'clock, the children went unaccounted for.
Is that AM or PM?
3:30 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m.
Can you give us an estimate of how long the bodies were in the car?
At the time, whenever we were watching video, it looked like at about 3:25 a.m. is whenever we saw the suspect vehicle pull up. It wasn't until 7:38 until APD received a call for two deceased people in the parking lot.
And who made that phone call to 911?
It was a neighbor.
So you said one of the brothers who was driving the car will not be charged. Is there a reason? Do you believe that he was maybe being forced to drive the suspect away or anything like that? Is that why he's not being charged?
We don't know that at this time. We're still looking into more information. Like I was saying, this is an ongoing investigation. It's still in the early stages, so we're still trying to figure out, and we're still trying to get more information on that as far as like any kind of family involvement.
Was the Amber Alert sent out statewide or was it localized at all?
That was statewide. Correct.
Would he possibly face any charges related to that Amber Alert?
Who?
The suspect.
The suspect face any charges for the Amber Alert? No, not at this time.
Do one last question?
Um,
Anyone has any?
Is he a U.S. citizen?
Can't discuss that at this moment.
Can we expect him to be deported?
It's unknown.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. We will do it again in Spanish in about 5-10 minutes, so if you are staying for the Spanish version, just give us a couple minutes, and if not, then we can escort you back downstairs. Thanks, y'all.
I didn't want to leave them there on the table. Well, we were leaving that first two guys inside to get into the family.